So I am heading to Corinna for the weekend. I went there this time last year and it was pouring rain and it was quite chilly. Today it's absolutely stunning autumn day, blue skies, still that little chill in the air. I drove across the highlands past the Cradle Mountain turnoff. Already seen a pair of wedgies, which was very exciting. Just arrived at Waratah and did a Yui, saw a sign for an old cemetery, which I haven't stopped at before. So I've just come to have a bit of a look around. So now I'll continue on to the town where I'll check out the waterfall, which you can see from just the street, which is amazing. Fun fact, 5 or so years ago, I brought my mum for a drive here, and she told me it was the first time in her whole life she'd ever seen a waterfall. So that was pretty cool to be able to show her that. So let's go check out this waterfall. And also, fun fact, all the sharp bends and corners Tassie has to offer. Little tip, Meg's tip, great way to overcome that is to use your own sound effects. And also I find chucking in a 4-letter word here and there also helps you with that ease around the corners.
And to get this shot, I was perched on the edge of a cliff, squatting in a bush, desperately hoping that no one would see me and think I was doing a wee. And if you're wondering where the hell is Corinna, it is there. That's my finger. You're welcome. I need a gimbal.
I'll give you a little tour around the roadman's cottage, which is the same cottage I stayed at last time. This time last year. When I arrived last year, it was raining sideways. Went out on the Sweetwater boat to Lovers Falls, which I'm doing the exact same thing today. However, I will be doing it in sunshine, so seeing it differently. And I was just checking in, and the gentleman who checked me in was pointing out all the walks to me, and he was telling me about this one, Mount Donaldson, that I did last year. He said, oh, it's going to look quite different this year because it burnt all around it, but it was button grass. So it's starting to shoot up now again already. So, and so the Roadman's Cottage is one of the original cottages at Corinna here. And it was inhabited by a gentleman called Pete. So this is your living area / kitchen. So Corinna runs on solar power, so no microwaves, no ovens, nothing that zaps a lot of energy. So we've got gas cooktop, do have a fridge, and a heater that I can attest to last year when it was actually freezing does heat the place generously. And then we go into, the cutest little bedroom. If it was quite tall, you might donk your head. And then we've just got a little, I keep saying little, well, it is little, bathroom. So you've got your shower. Hi. And you've got your toilet. So if you're a bloke, you can be sitting here passing time and looking out at that. How beautiful. I am getting ready to go out on the Sweetwater boat to Lovers Falls, so be really excited to share that with you too. And reception will give you a map of all the walking tracks and times and the grades. So pretty much I've done that up to Savage River, Mount Donaldson, and I think that's Lovers Falls there. Yep, that I'm going to on the boat this afternoon, all the way from here. Woo.
They're going to, none of them. Anyway, right, safety talk, Ned, or tied on. Ones like yours, put a safe place, because we will create a little bit of windage. It will blow up your head, and you'll get that horrible moment as we've nearly turned round and you think we're going to make it and you're going to get there in time to rescue it, and then it just soaks up enough water to disappear out of sight. And I've seen grown men with very teary looks in their eyes. Unfortunately, I've been one of them.
Beautiful cruise down the Pieman River with Skipper Matthew on the Sweetwater boat to Lovers Falls. Learnt so much about the river and the environment around.
Straight ahead of us there at the moment. This huon pine that we're looking at here straight ahead of us, and she has a little laurel on the right hand side of her that's just starting to adopt its autumn colours. This female huon pine's not a sexually mature tree yet. She doesn't have any little pine cones on her. 2,000 seeds. He is probably the best looking male huon pine on the whole of the Pieman River. She chose her boyfriend very, very well. With trees, and if you didn't know exactly where it was, you could drive past it 100 times and not even know it was there.
So it hadn't been a lot of rain recently in the area, so there wasn't a great deal of water coming down Lovers Falls at this particular time, but I thought I'd share with you what it looked like this time last year.
Them to let him know that steamship Croydon had severe water ingress and that pump discharge capability could not keep up. And a short time thereafter, steamship Croydon sank. The condenser pipe to the triple expansion boiler has been disconnected, and that would have let an enormous amount of water into steamship Croydon in a very short period of time. Coming along there, there's the cargo winches just there. See the shadow of them? Right here, there's the forward mast with the collar around it where the lifting derrick was.
Surely not, but yes, it was. Yeah, absolutely.
And then back to Pete's place for a nice glass of wine, looking over the beautiful cottages, and haven't as yet got sick of cheese and pickles. And after a day where the river was a little bit choppy on top, down to sunset, and the river was like a mirror. It's absolutely eye-boggling, and it's almost like after a day of the river rivering, she's finally at rest. And look at that. Sat there on that jetty until the sun went down and just stared at that. Beautiful. And walking back to Pete's place as the moon rose. What a day. was going to sleep in, and I just couldn't help myself. I had to head back down to the river. Look at that. Really light mist rolling across the surface. How divine would it be to kayak on that river when it's like a mirror? Okay, brekkie done and heading off on the White River walk to our return. And look at me trying to be an expert hiker, but being my uncoordinated self as usual. My boots, I have missed you. It has been too hot to eat, but now you're back. Yeah. All that stuff. I haven't seen any animals yet. I feel like I could see some around here. Here's some wildlife I prepared earlier. I was talking to a man at the jetty this morning that was on the boat cruise yesterday afternoon, and he was telling me about how he's at the Mole Creek pub, and he showed me some footage. Just behind the Mole Creek pub there's a little creek, and it's full of platypus. There was 3 and an eel, and he showed me a video he took, and they're not scared of people at all. And this was the chonkiest platypus I've ever seen. He was very happy, very round. So if you want to see platypus up close, go to the Mole Creek pub. This is not an ad. I don't need to whisper. A huge myrtle. I'm pretty sure that's a myrtle. I know I should know the names of these trees and things, and I kind of do some, but I'm just in so much wonder. Like, I don't particularly feel the need to know the name of things, but I do love to know what they are, but like more their behaviour, their growth, what animals love them, that sort of thing. Bloody table and chairs there. What a spot. The serenity. Burrowing crayfish. And this is where the White River joins the Pieman. Oh, look at that. Yeah. One of the interesting things that Matthew, our skipper on the Sweetwater boat yesterday, taught us is that the Pieman River, from here for probably another several kilometres,
is still salt water, but only from the riverbed up about 1 metre or so. And then on the surface it must be fresh. So when there's a big roll out at the heads, because the water for the shower and so on, toilet, comes from the river. So if there's a big swell out the heads, it stirs everything up, and you might get like a little salty sort of feel slightly from the shower, and that's how we can tell. So fluffy. I want to touch it. Oh, there's a stick, but I can't.
How amazing are these campsites? So beautiful.
There's no actual track, I don't think so. It's just wandering, looking for gold. Well, this kind of looks like, what's that? What the hell is that? Gonna poke it with a stick. What is that? I don't know. Maybe it's a pom-pom lily. Maybe it's not a track. I see some blue tape down there. I'll just go to the top of the hill and see what I can see. Look at all the thingies in this log. Heaps of them. Yeah, no, changed my mind. This is beautiful. I'm glad I stopped here.
On down the road a bit further to Savage River. Should have bought the fishing rod. Decided to go to the pub for lunch because it's such a beautiful day, and just sat out the front here, best seat in the house, and had the most yummiest lunch. And then I had to have a nap after that. Okay, wake up, Megs. off for a walk. Oh, that's rude. Like, what's even going on here, guys? Like, I watched these guys all afternoon fighting. I guess they weren't really hurting each other, but they did this several times over the afternoon, and I had my own little commentary. It was pretty amusing.
Stop it.
Boy, get away from my boots. And a beautiful little bit of pink in the sky to end the night. Gorgeous full moon rising in the morning. Again, can't help myself. Had to head down to the river again. Really moody and beautiful. And a little rainbow. So pretty. So glad I came down. Well, if you've watched this far, you deserve a medal. But thanks for watching my amazing trip to Corinna. I hope you get a chance to see it for yourself sometime.